I know that if you clean your leaves, it really does help prevent pests. So I just go through and pour this in just a little bit into each little pot, and then I wait for them to drain out. And then another thing, I keep thinking of more things to do to prevent pests. What you can also do is keep your plant surfaces clean and dust free and just debris free. So as you can see, it's not like that dirty, but there is just like stuff, dirt, etc. on my shelf. It is kind of stained from like the terracotta leaking through. I don't really care much about this shelf to begin with, so it doesn't matter a ton to me. But what I do, since it's right next to the sink, I'm able to just stack all of these and move them off, and then slide this right over the sink, and then I just dust everything in. Sometimes I'll use an all-purpose cleaner if it's like really dirty, but I'm not going to do that today because it's not so bad. It's just a little bit of debris. As you can see, I'm putting these saucers on in a zigzag formation, and that is just to prevent the plants from being right on top of each other. I don't like when my leaves touch, so this is a really great way to make sure that happens. If you want to do something like this in your, in your collection, I do this here, and I do it on a larger scale in my plant room, and it's really perfect to keep them away from each other. And I don't know if any of you noticed, but I finally installed curtains in this kitchen window. Every winter I complain about how the sun comes in so strong in the winter because my big tree doesn't have any leaves. And finally I did it, and I'm really happy I did it. It was like one of the best things I've done, because this kitchen, or my house in general, like at night can sometimes feel like a fishbowl, because I have huge picture windows, which I love, because if you're gonna live like surrounded by a forest, you'd hope that you'd have good windows. So I'm happy about it, but at the same time I was like, wow. And everybody, if they come to my house at night, can see everything I'm doing, and I would have no idea if there was somebody standing right in front of me outside if it's dark. And that really freaked me out. So I was beyond scared straight when I started thinking about it more. So I just decided to put those up finally, and they were already curtains that I had. I just ended up hemming them, which I was avoiding because I hate hemming curtains. It's just like such a monotonous thing to do. But it's easy, and I know how to sew, so like, let's use our brain here, Becca. Okay, so I have to do some grooming on this plant. It looks really bad, but it was just thirsty. It's gonna be fine, but I did let it get thirsty for a bit too long, and there's some leaves that I should probably just cut off. I'm kind of going through this in my entire collection right now because I was pretty irresponsible and didn't do a ton of watering over the Christmas season. So I'm kind of paying for it now in the form of cutting off more leaves than I would want, because yikes, I've had to cut off a lot of leaves. It's just something that happens, and unfortunately the plants pay the price, but they always grow back. As long as you're not letting them get past the point of no return, they will grow back. This one does look pretty bad, but it's come back from way worse. This is a plant that's had spider mites, I think like twice, and it always came back. This plant I have been sort of rehabbing, not really even rehabbing it because it was never like gonna die or anything, but I just fell out of love with my green string of hearts, and it was like really, really, really long and stringy, and I just didn't like the way it looked. And a bunch of people told me to just like wrap it up around the top and it'll like root, which I knew that, but I just never like wanted to do it. But I finally did it, and the top looks like super full because it's all like wrapped up. It hasn't rooted necessarily, but it has put off like, this is new, 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 this is new. You get the idea. It's putting off some cute growth. So she gets to stay. I'll let her live in my collection, and I actually am gonna put this on my green wall because I need plants to put up there, and it's already in the perfect pot for up there. So I'm just gonna put it up there and hope for the best for it. I think it'll be fine. It'll probably be a better environment than in here actually. So anyway, oh, also this, we're doing propagation updates, I guess. So this is a splendid that I cut off my plant. I don't remember why I cut it off. I think I just wanted to try to root it individually, and I put it in water just because I knew that it would root in water. I am wanting to buy some more sphagnum moss, and I said in a previous video that I wasn't going to buy sphagnum moss anymore, And a bunch of people commented, well, and the reason was because it wasn't very eco. And a bunch of people commented and they're like, I think you're getting spag confused with peat moss. And ever since that conversation, I've been like, oh, did I? I don't really know, but maybe I did. Honestly, I don't know. But the point is, I don't buy peat moss anymore. I mean, unless it's for like my garden, and it's so hard to avoid peat moss in my garden because all like outdoor mixes pretty much have peat moss unless I was to mix my own, which this year I think I'm gonna try because my soil last year outside sucked, and I think was a big reason why my garden also sucked. One of my friends online posted a recipe for what she does in her garden, so I'm gonna follow that this year and see if I have any improvements. Anyway, I'm wanting to buy some sphagnum moss because I'd like to start propagating my plants again, and this is one that I'd probably put in spag before I'd put it in soil because it does have some pretty cute water roots, but I think I'd prefer to have some like soil roots because soil roots are what grows out of sphagnum moss. Because it's just different. Water roots and soil roots are different types of roots, and sometimes water roots have a hard time transitioning from the water substrate to the soil substrate because they kind of have to regrow a new root system, or like, I don't think they transform the roots. I really don't know, but they have to undergo some sort of transition under the pot, and I prefer to just not have my plants do that. I find that when I root my plants in like cocoa peat or spag, they do take off a lot faster when I put them in soil as compared to propagating in water, and that's a big reason why I kind of moved away from propagating in water. But propagating in water is a very passive way of propagating. Like you literally just put it in water and fill the water when it evaporates, or like change it out once or twice a month. Like honestly, it's very easy. But again, the transition to soil is a lot harder. It has a growth point too, which is pretty exciting. So maybe I've just made an entire new plant. I'm pretty excited about it. So that one is doing great. And this one was given to me by someone at a book signing, Tyler, and it has a baby now, and it's so cute. I really like having this in water. It might stay in water forever until we get like more babies. I really don't know, but I just like the way that it looks in here. So we're gonna keep it in there. Okay. So now for my flat mite routine, I have this spray bottle and let me go get the actual product. Okay, I get a lot of questions on which specific sulfur I use for my plants, and it is this one by Bonide. Bonide is just a great plant company. They have a lot of great pest prevention products, so usually if it's Bonide, it's probably gonna be pretty good. But what I did was the ratios on here were kind of confusing, and whenever you're trying out a new pest prevention method, please, please, please do your due diligence and open up this back panel and read this, like read all of the risks. I honestly didn't do a very good job of that because I was using a product called 8 for a really long time, and someone commented and said that it's not supposed to be used for indoors, and I had no idea. And the first 8 that I bought, it wasn't the concentrate, it was just like the pre-mixed bottle. It had a strong smell, but it wasn't all that bad. And then I bought a concentrate of it, and the concentrate has just like a very toxic smell. And it is chemicals, it's not like a natural based insecticide. So I guess that makes sense, but I don't know. Anyway, somebody told me that in the comment section of one of my videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is not great, but it's fine. Like, I'm fine, my dogs are fine, everything's fine. But yeah, just make sure that you're reading the labels, because I thought I did, and apparently I didn't. I missed something, so definitely read that. But anyway, when you read the label, it'll also tell you, because this is a powder. What I've always seen people do is dilute it in water, so I needed to know the ratio to use. So I looked at the bottle, and I was like, this is confusing because it's for gallons, and this is not a gallon, so I had to do some math. And my rough estimate of how much sulfur I needed per my 25 fluid ounce bottle was about a teaspoon. I feel like that might even be a little bit too much, but I've been doing it for like 3 or 4 months now, and I haven't had any issues, so I think that we're okay. Anyway, so I just put the powder in the water and I shake it up, because if you don't like continue to shake it, the powder will all settle to the bottom. So it's kind of like your chocolate milk. Just gotta shake it up. So I've got my 2 flat mite queens in the sink here, and what I do is, you can see there's like white splash marks. It looks like water marks, but that's actually the sulfur. So you have to wipe that off, the previous treatment, before you add on the new treatment. So